Hello, everyone. Today I'm going to be breaking down the 2024 presidential election using demographics. Make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more content just like this. And so we see that Donald Trump has his, demographics, with the exit polls from 2020 against incumbent President Joe Biden. We see the different demographic margins here as of right now. And essentially that produced this map over here where Biden was able to narrowly win the electoral college against the former president in Wisconsin, Georgia, and Arizona. And now what we actually see is a demographic shift like no other than before. And what's quite interesting is what I did is I basically got the New York Times / Siena College poll. They actually broke down the demographics for us, which is very nice. They did it by age, race, basically education. They did it by gender. And they also asked people, okay, who did you vote for in the 2020 presidential election? They also asked people, okay, who did you vote for then? And then we have our demographic margins here. And so what I did is I essentially put, all these margins down in these two columns, and I put the exit poll results from 2020 from the New York Times page. And I essentially got, okay, I said, all right, these are the margins here. This was the 2020 sample from the 2024 poll. Let's find the adjusted error to see how much we would need to adjust these to get as accurate as a sample as we can possibly get. And this is what we have. We have 18 to 29-year-olds basically tied. We have 30 to 44 voting for Trump by 12, 45 to 64 by 11, 65 plus by 4. We have college educated tied. We have non-college by 7 points. We have men by 13. Women are tied. We see whites vote for Trump by 19 points. Blacks only vote for Biden by 32 percentage points, which is even smaller of a victory than what I even have for him. And Hispanics vote for Biden by 5 points, and others vote for him by 13. And so essentially what I did is that when I tried putting all those demographics on a single map here, it basically gave me Trump winning literally every single state except DC, which is basically impossible. That is never going to happen. But what we see here is that I can actually break these down by individual categories. So this map was broken down purely by race. This map was purely broken down by age. This one was broken down by education level. And this one was broken down by gender. And what I did was basically averaged out all the results and essentially got them all here and averaged them out. And we have our final margins for every single state on the right side in bold big text. And so we're going to be going over those margins as of right now. This is not necessarily my official forecast, but this is what the demographic shifts according to the New York Times / Siena College poll, and adjusting it for an error from the 2020 sample would produce on an electoral college map as of right now. For the safe Republican states, we have Utah, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, the Dakotas, Nebraska's third, first, and the at-large vote, Kansas, Oklahoma, Missouri, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, Indiana, West Virginia. We also have the state of California voting for Biden as of right now. We can see it is voting for him by 17 points. We have the District of Columbia by, 69 points. Nice. And we have Maryland and Massachusetts as well as Vermont going safe for President Biden, just giving him 81 electoral college votes. Now, the states of Iowa, we can go down here. We see it's voting for Trump by 17.6, which is quite interesting because one of the more accurate pollsters of the nation that basically got the race in Iowa spot on by the time we got to the 2020 presidential election. They had Trump up 7 points in a poll in October of that year. They basically have the state as a plus 18 state, and right now he's projected to win it by 17.6 percentage points. If we look at Ohio, it's an 18.4 percentage point victory, so that's going to put these states in this safe Republican column. We also have South Carolina in that spot as well. Not to mention, we also have the state of Alaska as a 20-point victory for the former president as of right now. Not only that, we're also going to see in this electoral college scenario, if we actually go down to Maine second, it is a 19-point victory for the former president as of right now, which is a historic victory in this district. Now, for the likely Democrat states, we're going to have the states of none other than Washington at 9 points for Biden. We have Oregon at around 6 points for Biden in this scenario. We also have the state of New York in the likely column, as well as Connecticut, Delaware, and Rhode Island. We can also go to Illinois as well. The forecast there, according to demographics, would be around 5 points for Biden as of right now. He is really hemorrhaging, black support and young support, and that's why you see a lot of these states narrow up compared to the previous election result. We also see a state like Hawaii is around a 19-point victory for the incumbent president. That puts the state in the safe Democrat column. Maine's first is also only a 6-point victory for Biden as of right now. The states of Texas and Florida, however, Florida's voting for Trump by 14 points, and we have Texas at 18 points for Trump. So we can put those in their respective categories as of right now. And we only have a couple of more states to fill out on the map. And we will actually just go from west to east to fill all of these out. The state of Nevada, as of right now, is actually forecasted at an 8.5-point victory when you average out all the results. This would be a huge win. He only won it by 2.4 percentage points in the 2020 election. President Biden did. So for Trump to win it by this amount would be a huge shift. And it would make sense since Hispanics are trending massively to the right and white voters as well. There's a large white working class population here. And so I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case. We can also go over here to the state of Arizona. And in the state of Arizona, Donald Trump actually wins by 10.3%, a bigger victory than Nevada. However, I suspect that more than likely Nevada will be a bigger victory than Arizona because the model's not really picking up state trends. So I'm just doing a video just to show what the demographics would essentially show based out of corrected results. Colorado would literally just be a 2-point win, which is kind of where I have it at. I have the state as like a 2.5-point victory for Biden, so that's not super far off. In the state of New Mexico, as of right now, it's actually a 0.9 percentage point victory for Donald Trump, according to this forecast. He narrowly wins the state of New Mexico here, so that is also quite interesting to see. We look at the state of Georgia, where Donald Trump is projected to win by 12.7 percentage points as of right now. We can also go to the state of North Carolina. We see a 12.9 percentage point victory for Donald Trump in the state of North Carolina. He's already at 273 electoral votes because he was able to pick up New Mexico. We also can go to the state of Virginia, where Donald Trump is projected to win by 2.2 percentage points, which is a pretty impressive win in the state. And if you actually apply a 2020 polling error in the state from the polling to the current aggregate, which has Trump up by like 0.2, according to Decision Desk HQ, you would get a margin very similar to this. So that is very interesting to see that go that way. The state of New Jersey would be a 3.9 percentage point victory for Biden in this scenario. The state of New Hampshire would lean into Donald Trump's column as of right now, getting him to 290 electoral college votes. And we also have Maine at large, narrowly going to President Biden as of right now. Demographics basically the model picks up that a lot of older white voters are kind of trending to the left, and that's more than likely why we see a state like Maine at large essentially stay in that tilt Democrat column. And so now we also have the final Rust Belt states. We're going to go from Pennsylvania to Minnesota. We see that in Pennsylvania, Donald Trump is winning the state by 9.6 percentage points, which would be a huge victory in the state. A lot of African American shifts would actually really explain that. Wisconsin is actually a smaller victory than Pennsylvania. It is forecasted as a 9.3 percentage point win for Donald Trump. That is something quite interesting to take note, especially if African Americans and Hispanics are shifting so much to the right and young voters. I could see Pennsylvania vote slightly to the right of Wisconsin by like about a half a point. That would kind of make sense, especially since it's a more populated state as of right now. And then we look at the state of Michigan, where Donald Trump is projected to win by 7.7 percentage points as of right now. And we go to Nebraska second. That's forecasted as a likely margin for Donald Trump as of right now. And in the state of Minnesota, Donald Trump is projected to win by 3.1 percentage points, which gets him to 345 electoral college votes to Joe Biden's 193 as of right now. This is very similar to what I actually have. My latest forecast, the only difference essentially has New Hampshire going Democrat as of right now. So this is essentially what the demographic model if you go ahead and you poll, you essentially get the 2024 sample. You see where everybody said they voted in 2020. You find the actual 2020 margins, you adjust for the error and apply it to the 2024 poll, and you get these margins, and you break the map down by these different categories and you average the results out. This is the map you get for this election cycle. For those people that are saying, oh, this race is going to be competitive, it doesn't really look like it is. This would kind of signify around a plus 5.5 national environment for the former president. They did ask the sample, who did you vote for in 2020? It was Biden plus 3. The sample was Trump plus 7 with third party candidates included. That's a 10-point shift to the right. And so if you were to shift a 4.5-point national popular vote here to here, you would get around a plus 5.5 victory in the electoral college as of right now. And what's interesting is, like, for example, you see Wisconsin was around a 0.6 percentage point victory. That state shifts around 7 points, or actually it shifts about 9 points to the right as of right now, almost about 10 points. So that kind of goes in line there. Even a state like Minnesota, for example, we actually see that the state of Minnesota is around a 3-point victory. Here it was a 7-point win. So again, that matches up with that shift. The state of Nevada was a 2.4 percentage point win. Donald Trump is winning the state by 8.5. That kind of aligns with that 10-point shift. Colorado actually kind of trends a point Republican here for some reason. It was a 13.5-point victory for Biden in 2020, as you can see right here. However, here it votes 2.5 points despite the popular vote shifting 10 points to the right. And so that would actually trend the state of Colorado about a point to the right. And we even see a state like New York, a 23-point victory, now end up being only an 11-point win. That state trends about 2 points Republican, according to this map. New Jersey trends to the right, as well as a state like Illinois. That state shifts about 12 points to the right nationally. So it trends about 2 points Republican based on this forecast. Even a state like Virginia even shifts about 2 points Republican. So does Minnesota. Michigan, as of right now, it was a 3-point victory for Biden in 2020, and right now it is currently forecasted as a 7.7 victory. So that's around an 11-point shift. So the state kind of trends about a point Republican, more like 0.1%, to be honest. When you look at the real math, it like trends barely to the right as of right now. And so you could see Donald Trump wins in an electoral college scenario when just paying attention to demographics by themselves. And so if you guys did enjoy this breakdown, if you guys want me to do an alternate 2020 presidential election scenario, like what if there was no coronavirus, I would definitely like to do something like that, because I feel like this would be a very interesting result. If you guys have any requests for a video, want me to break down the election in a certain way, I can definitely do that for you guys. I may do a series where I go doing basically groups of different states. Essentially, I may do a series where I break every single state down, by race, by education, by everything, and then give my classification for the state. I may do that as a series, on a daily basis. So you would see, the major uploads and then another video. And let me know if you want me to do the alternate 2020 scenario. I definitely want to explore that, because that would be a very interesting election to look at. Make sure to go ahead and hit the like button if you did like this analysis, and make sure to subscribe for more content just like this. I will see you guys in the next video.